This is Jesse with Jesse Dean Designs. We're going to go ahead and tell you about the Jddrs-Cf, the touch cut, and the Reloop SP fader for the spin. Inside the box here, we're going to open it up. We have the packing, and then we're going to have carbon fiber and billet aluminum tone arm here for the Reloop spin. Go and open it back here. You notice here that it is all new that we have before. It's got the carbon fiber tube with billet aluminum construction, brass counterweight, adjustable, and carbon fiber head shell. We also have now the new billet aluminum tone arm rest with clip. This also works nice with the unit. Head shell installation hardware. And the preamp kit for the Reloop spin. I'm going to go ahead and start here with the Jddtc-Rs, which basically touch cut for Reloop spin. Inside here we have the gold contact on the surface, made of PCB. Underneath, that's where the plug plugs into the unit. Simple installation. And as you drag your finger across that gold line, the audio cuts. So we'll go and put that off to the side. Then of course our JDDX2R-SP fader. This goes into a Reloop spin. And inside the package here we have the fader assembly and a trimmer screwdriver to adjust the cut in on the left or right side. Now we'll go and open this up. The spin fader here, nice and smooth, and it's got the regular plug for the fader, and then we've got the jumper, which will set for double cut or regular left right, and then of course the two trimmers for your left and right cut in. Now we're going to go ahead and start with the installation guide for the tone arm. We're going to go ahead and remove all the base screws. Okay, set those up in a nice place. Once we have that, we're going to go ahead and remove the base. Kind of clips off there, and then of course remove speaker wire there. Alright, set that off to the side. Now we're going to go ahead and unscrew the PCB. There's going to be 3 silver screws and then 2 black screws. Of course, set those off to the side. Peel off this tape here. Then we're going to go and get a pair of snips. We're going to go ahead and snip off the original tone arm wires close to the solder tabs. So, then of course we're going to go ahead and remove those 2 black screws on the back side, on the back plate. Just do that, go ahead and kind of fold it over a little bit there, check everything. Make sure everything's out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and now take a Phillips screwdriver and we're going to remove the brass turn stop off the original tone arm. And slide that off the cable there. We're going to get a flat screwdriver and we're going to go ahead and pry off the E-clip very carefully, make sure it doesn't fling off and disappear, and of course set that off to the side and don't lose that. Put everything back in the cement, flip the unit over, open up the lid assembly, and we're going to go ahead and pull the tone arm out of the original home plate. Make sure the wire pulls through. Set that off to the side. Then we're going to take the JDDR-Cf tone arm. We're going to go ahead and feed the tone arm wires through the hole. And once we do that, we're going to go ahead and slide the tone arm tube right through that hole right there for the gimbal. Once it's in place, let's set it off to the side a little bit. Then we're going to take the tone arm rest, open it up. It's going to have 2 Allen keys, one for the tone arm and one for the smaller size screws on the unit. Set the tone arm clip or rest in a place where it's desired to fit correctly, a little off to the side there. Then we're going to take the small Allen key or hex key and snug up that screw on the back side there to hold it in place. Once that part's done, we're going to go ahead and put that off to the side, grab the lid, put it back on, and then flip the unit back over. Once the unit's flipped over, make sure our cables are out of the way. Looks clean. Go ahead and put the tone arm E-clip back on. There will be a groove on the tone arm tube itself. Let's go and snap that back into place. Once in place and everything's clear, go ahead and use a Phillips screwdriver, and we're going to remove one screw from the tone arm gimbal to attach the preamp. Of course, inside the preamp, it's going to have a red and black power wire and a gray audio cable. So remove one screw right here off the gimbal base. And we'll take the preamp, undo power wire a little bit in a few seconds, and then go ahead and set that in place. Make sure the preamp is at a slight angle so none of the contacts on the bottom of the preamp are touching any of the green boards or the PCB boards on the Reloop. And then once everything's clear, go ahead and snug it down and make sure everything's clear. Once that part's done, just double check and make sure everything is in the right place. Go and undo the power wire. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in the gray audio cable into the preamp. Make sure the wires are clear. We're going to go ahead and now undo the tape and then fold the board completely over so it's exposed. Then we're going to go ahead and plug the gray cable from the preamp into the socket on the main PCB board for the Reloop. And we're going to plug that in to the socket closest to the fader socket, like so. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and start with the breakout board. The breakout board's pretty easy. I'm going to unplug the red plug from the fader socket just to confirm everything, and go ahead and then plug in the fader board or the breakout board into the fader socket where the red plug was. Once that's done, we're going to go ahead and take the fader board wires for the faders, the red socket, and plug it into the breakout board 4-pin. Once that part's done, go ahead and undo the root cable and plug in the preamp power wire into the breakout board. Now we're going to go ahead and take a small screwdriver and loosen the terminal screws that are for the tone arm wire. Make sure the tone arm wires are split apart, clean, and not twisted up. And then we're going to put those inside the preamp terminal for the tone arm wires. So the way it's going to be is red goes to right, the white goes to left, or the L, and then the copper tinned one goes to the center. Once those are in place, go ahead and take your small screwdriver and tighten down the terminal screws until snug. Once snug, give it a little tug there a little bit to make sure that they're in there correctly. Tuck all wires back, make sure everything is clean so the wires don't bind. Fold over the main PCB board. Then we're going to check all the wires and make sure everything is clear. I can't say this enough. Make sure all wires are clear from any pinch points or any screw terminals. Then go and take the black screws, and then we're going to go ahead and put in the back plate screws first. Once those are done, double check, make sure all your wiring is clear. And then we're going to take the breakout board and put it between the green PCB board for the Reloop and also the terminal block. Make sure all your wires are clear so we don't have any pinching. And then go ahead and take the screw, line the hole up, and then put the screw inside, tightening it down snugly. The breakout board is out a little bit away from the edge to make sure the post hole is clear. We're going to take care of that wire in a second, but just make sure that area is clear to make sure the lid can go on correctly. Then go ahead and check everything, make sure all your wires are clear, make sure no wires are being pinched, everything's into place, and then go ahead and snug down all the PCB mounting screws. Like I said again, make sure all wires are clear. Make sure everything's tucked away and clear of any pinch points. Then we'll go ahead and plug in the speaker wire for the bass to the 2-pin plug that we removed it from. Then we're going to go ahead and put the bass on without screwing it down, just put the bass on place where it needs to be. Go ahead and flip the unit over, open the lid, and now your tone arm is installed. Let's go ahead and start with the SP fader for installation. So go ahead and remove the 2 screws on the factory fader. And then use a small screwdriver to pry the white plug out of the fader. Sometimes it gets a little snug, so we keep trying until it's loose. It comes out easily. And we take the SP fader here. And you'll notice that the jumper is already set for double cut from the factory. So we're just going to take the red plug and plug that into the SP fader. Put in place. And then go ahead and put in the 2 screws and mount the fader into place. Now we're going to go ahead and do the touch cut. Touch cut's very simple. I'm going to go ahead and remove the 2 screws for the metal plate. And these can go between left and right side. It's all on preference on the fader side or the port side you'd like. So what I'm going to do is take the red plug, plug it into the touch cut. It's a snug fit. So once it gets in place, you'll feel it snap in and snap into place. Once that's the case, go ahead and put in accordingly, and then put in the 2 mounting screws into place. There we go. So that's the JDD Jddrs-Cf tone arm, the X2R-SP fader, and the touch cut for the reloop spin. If all checks out well and works correctly, let's start putting the bass back on. Now go ahead and put all the screws in that you removed in the beginning. This is Jesse with Jesse Dean Designs, and these are the installs for the Jddrs-Cf tone arm, the X2R-SP fader, and the touch cut for reloop spin.